what's up everybody? Mark Richmond here, Divi Dojo, and I've got a client that wants tabs to set different categories to come in on their blog listing. So you click on a tab and a certain category pops up, click on another tab, another category pops up, and the tab's labeled, of course, to the category. They don't have any of those categories made yet, or the blog posts. This is all preliminary, but I'm going to build it using a plugin called Anything Slider. Totally awesome. Link's going to be dropped in below. All right, so let's get started. I just want to say this on a side note. Where am I going? Let's try this angle. I just want to say on a side note, it is so boring to sit through any tutorial. So I'm going to try and make them as exciting as possible. But in this case, I'm just trying to talk through the different modules. It's not really exciting stuff, but the finished element is exciting, and even more exciting is when you have a happy client. And by the time I got done with this, I did have a very happy client, but let's continue, and I'm going to strive to try and make these tutorials a little more exciting to sit through. And regardless, I hope you really learned something, and it helps you out in figuring out things for your client and building Divi websites. All right, back to the action. So what we've got started here is a blog for this client. They have a page already. I'll just go pull that up really quick. Open link. I think I've got this on the menu already. Open up the blog page. It's the one that I made, blog one. Okay, here we go. So I've got this blog layout that I then want to turn into two separate selections, maybe even three, with tabs. And I've got the request. I got an email here from my client. Let me bring this over. I won't bring that over actually. But okay, so I've got this email here from a client, and they want to have resources library that includes 4 major content types. So we're going to make a tab structure of 4 tabs, and then it's going to pull up probably the same blog listing right now until they get their blog categorizing set, and then I can then set each tab for a different category to pull in. And we're going to be using the plugin called Anything Slider to create this. With Anything Slider, you can create tabs, and you can create sliders, and any type of content you can fit on a Divi page, modules, anything with modules, you can have it come in one of the tab structures or as a slide. And so we're basically going to make 4 different sections. Each blog layout is going to be a different category, and it's going to pull it in as you click it. So that's what we're about to do. So let's get started. I'm going to this page here and save it. So I'm going to edit the page. Now I do my work in the back end of Divi, and more the front end and the back end are morphing together. So pretty soon it's going to be like this seamless. You'll be able to do like back end style work or front end style work right from the front end main visual builder. I've been using the back end since the birth of Divi pretty much. So I'm very used to that. And even if you think you would rather use the front end builder in Divi, use whatever's comfortable. It's a tool. Whatever makes you work the fastest, go with that route. In this case, the fastest I can work is not kind of retraining myself just yet on using the front end, which I do now and then, especially for text editing. But for this, I like to see the block structure on the layout, and that's how I'll be building this. So what I'm going to do right now, I pulled up the blog that I just showed you, this one here. Oops, sorry, I closed the window. So this is that blog that had the featured and then the content below. I'm going to save that as a library item because the anything slider pulls in a library item into the tab structure. You'll see that too when I start building that out. But I'm going to call this, just for now, I'll call this case study because that's going to be one of the 4 categories that the company I'm doing this for today wants. So I'm saving this one as case study. I'm going to make another one. Now you can go back into the library and adjust these as you want to, but this is going to save it in the library as is. So I'm going to make another one here. I'm going to call this one, so we got case study, we got white papers. White papers, save. I'm going to make another one, save to library. I want the exact same structure. And then I can go in and mix them up later. This one's going to be articles, save. And then my 4th one, industry research. So industry research, save. So now I've got my 4 blog layouts saved into the Divi library. I'm going to click over here. I don't need to save anything on that particular page, but here they are. Industry research, articles, white papers, case study. Those are the exact same layouts. I can go back in and change them anytime I click in this edit inside the Divi library. But what I'm going to do next now is create a new page. And we're going to build out the anything slider and create a easy tab sectional 4-section blog category choosing system. There's better names for this, but I'm just going on the fly here. Tab network for choosing 4 different categories. It only pulls that category into the landing page. So I'm going to call this the category. Spell it correctly. Category selection tabs blog category selection tab. Blog with category selection tabs using the Divi builder. All right, so what I'm going to do is create one column, and I already have the anything slider installed. So what I've got here is the anything slider module, and I won't need a menu for this or a slider. It'll give me that option inside the module. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add slides. I'm going to add a new slide, and that's going to be the first of, well, I'm going to label it first, but I'm going to label these things the same thing. So resources. And then the slide type is going to be a Divi layout slide, or you can do just content. I'm going to do a Divi layout slide. And the content you would add down here, and it would show that. But I'm sticking with a Divi layout, and then that allows me to go into the Divi library and select which one I want to use. And I have dropped them in here, labeled accordingly. So I've got down here at the bottom of the list, which are the most recent ones I've added in, industry research, articles, white papers, case study. So actually I labeled that first one wrong. Resources library. Case study is going to be my first one. So I'm going to relabel this one at the top. Case studies. I'll just keep it study. So that's going to pull in the Divi layout case study. I'm going to save that one. This works exactly like a regular slider. These guys have brilliantly put this plugin together. And I'll leave a link to this plugin below in the comments so you can easily just find it, and highly recommend this. I've used it for many, many sites, and there's a lot of things you can do with it, especially sliders. You can make amazing sliders out of this. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is add the next slide. I'm just going to do these really quick so don't waste your time on the actual slide making. It's exactly like how you would make any slider in the Divi environment. So this one's going to be called white papers, Divi layout. Go down to my listing, white papers. Boom. Then another new slide. This one is articles. Looking at the bottom, articles, save. One more. Industry research. if I knew what these things were called automatically. Okay, industry research, save. Now, the next step is to keep this from becoming an actual slider and just a tab set. So I don't want next and previous controls. I want a nav menu. So I'm going to turn this on as a nav menu. And you can also disable that, and the setting will show or hide the nav menu. If you don't want it to slide on hover, you can choose where this nav menu is going to be positioned. I want it on the top center. Client may want it up to the top left, right, whatever. I'm going to keep it centered in this case. Show controls on hover, no. Animation in and out. There's a ton of options for this one. I'm going to leave it on fade, but we might choose later to make it slide. I'm going to touch these up after I take a look at it. Right now, all the blog posts are the same exact size, so I might just not touch these settings, but you can set it to auto height, and the bottom will cut off with whatever else is there if you click it on auto height. Equal height will take the largest one and set the rest of them to that, equalizing the height of all of them to your biggest one. And it can tend to leave a white space or a gap at the bottom. Auto height, you're going to get a jumping as the different screens. When you click the tab, it's going to push the rest of the content down, and it's going to have a jump to it. That may not be so annoying for a tab structure. That can get really annoying for a slider. So you don't want things jumping around. So most of the time, a slider, you're going to want to use the equal height. I'm sorry, not equal height, the auto height, so that things stay. And then when you're designing the pieces that go in that slider, you're going to design it around that same height as well. And so we're going to leave everything else as default settings. I'm not going to get into any of these design modes. We're not doing carousel. And so we're just going to leave all these alone. You can get heavy into these if you're making a actual slider, and we can do that in another demo at another time. So let's save and exit this, and let's take a look. I'm going to save the draft. This is our blog with category selection tabs. And the one thing I probably will do customize is the selection tabs, but as soon as this comes back, I'm going to preview this and give it a second to load. And we should start seeing a general tab structure pulling in. It's going to be pulling in the same exact blog post, but I'm going to go in and change those categories after my client creates new category areas. So, all right, so now we're seeing a conflict right off the bat that I can go back in and adjust. But let's see if our tabs are working. We've got articles, industry research, and it is. They're actually flipping. So I'm going to go in and actually change this feature to just have articles come in. And that I'm going to fix in the Divi library. So I'm saving this draft. This is good to go. This part is actually working, but now I'm seeing a conflict in the codes match. These are the kind of things you're going to come across. That's part of this process. I'm not going to clean this up just to make a spotless, shiny tutorial for you. This is the kind of stuff you're going to be dealing with as a business, and you can fast forward through any of the parts you want, but this is the kind of stuff you're going to come up with, so we can pull our hair out together if we have to figure something out really hard. But this doesn't seem like a hard one. So we're going to go in and fix that up right now on just the first one. So I'm going to go back over here to the Divi library, which I'm in Pages right now. So let's see, I'll go back to the library. And we'll choose the first one, which was called the case studies. So let me go to case study. I'm going to edit that. Now, the one thing about editing in the Divi library is you can't preview it until you go back out to the page that it's feeding to. So we're going to avoid, let's see. I may have figured out why that's doing that. All right, let me see what my settings were on this. Just 1 second. Stand by. Now this is a custom blog layout by Divi Soup, and it was a free download. Just sign up on her email opt-in, in order to download some of the free options, and I highly recommend joining the Divi Soup tutorial group. And there's a lot of tips and tricks with that. Tons of stuff. Brilliant group. I will leave a link below to the Divi Soup. But for now, sorry, my mind's thinking about this right now. I want to see what the width of this is. Why I'm getting conflicts. Okay, I've got the gutter width to 2, but I don't have anything else set. So I'm getting some kind of conflict. I think I'm actually going to just leave the remaining posts and take out the features so that we don't get this funky thing going on here. Oh, I wonder if that's why that's coming in like that. All right. Let me just test one thing real quick. If I expand this out to full width, this is back in the blog category page build. I'm just going to preview this after I changed one setting. And that didn't help. Okay, so if that's in there like that, I wonder, there's some code here that I have in the page that I wonder if I need to drop it into the main category page, and I'll see if that helps. So I'm going to save just this out. Oh, it's not going to let me from there. Okay, well, I'm going to copy and paste this then. I'm going to take this CSS and copy and paste this CSS code back into my page build to see if that clears out the issues I'm receiving. My code module, there we go. Now, when you're using a code module inside a page, or you're putting CSS inside a code module to work within that page, you want to add your style tags at the top and the close style tag at the bottom, or this CSS will not work and it'll affect like anything else within your page. It's going to mess it up big time. Same goes for JavaScript. You want to add script at the top and close script at the bottom. And we're going to add that. You can add that into the same code box. I'm going to do that right now. Below the style script. Now let's see, now that that code's been added in, because that code is actually affecting the content inside to lay out properly, I'm wondering if that's going to help. Let's see what happens. And it did not. Wow. Okay. So something is definitely conflicting here. I'm getting my more articles, but everything's just really messed up. I think I'm just going to have to go with articles and not this cool layout. Okay. Well, if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. All right. So I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to just leave it with post. We'll leave that as a title. I'm going to take out the grid blogs. I may go back to that, and when I figure out what I've done, I'll add it to the end of this later. But for now, I'm not going to mess with it. But I'm going to keep this category. Let's see, post to 6. I'm going to leave it wide open. Oh, they do have the, let's see, article case study developer blog, news and announcements. I'm just going to leave this wide open for now, and not going to offset it. And save it out as this. Make sure it's grid. I think it's grid. Design, full width, grid, update. So now we're going to go back here, refresh. We should just be seeing the blog layout now. Very nice. So these are actually pictures. I'm just giving the client the size. It's actual gray picture for the featured article that says 1200 by 628. And they're going to be sharing once in a while to Facebook. If you share a 1200 by 628 or 629 picture to Facebook, it'll come in real nice. They say 1200 by 630, but I've had many times where the 630 does not appear. I don't know if it's a browser size thing, but 629, 628 seem to be working a lot better. So I stick with that dimension for sharing into Facebook these blog post articles. So if you notice now, we click on white papers, we're getting the other layout still. We click on case study, you're getting this layout, which I'm totally happy with. So I'm going to flip the next three to, I'm going to select one category, so hopefully it pulls in something else for white papers. So now we're done with this one. I'm going to then go back to the Divi library and change the other three. So I'll do that really quick. And white papers. Get rid of this. Boom. Hello. There we go. Boom. And let's see if I can only select white papers in the blog if they've already created that category. Article, case study, developer blog, featured, and category. No. But maybe, I don't know. I'll do it for the next one. Don't want to offset. Keep the post at 6. Oh, take out the class from before. Boom. Boom. Save. Now I think the next two actually do have categorized selections. So going back to the Divi library. Coffee time. All right, and articles. I know they have an articles category selection. I'm not dealing with their blog posts. They're actually making their own blog posts, but I am designing how it looks when it falls in. And I have a meeting with them in about half an hour. So I'm just going to get this prepped up. Get rid of this. Boom. Boom. Change this to article. Take out the offset. I don't know if it's going to be 6. Oh, wait. Forgot to make it grid. Sorry. Grid. I left the other one full width, but that'll look kind of cool when you click on the tab and you only see full width that time. You'll see the difference when you click on the tab. Okay, so that's articles. And I got one last one to fix. And let's go back to the Divi library. Hello. Industry research. And I know they have one for that. A category. All right, so sorry I'm being a little bit repetitive here this morning. But once again, I hit a snag. Wasn't expecting it. We got to work around it and get to our call in half an hour. So this one we're going to call, what are we going to call this one again? Was that case study? White paper, research. I don't have a research. Well, let's just go with case study or featured. I'm a featured. Featured news and announcements. Take out the offset. At 6. Design. Grid. Advanced. Boom. Oh shoot, did I forget to do that in the last one? I'm going to have to jump back to article. All right, really quick, jump back to article. I forgot to set it to grid. Or I forgot to take out the class. It's one or the other. Something's not right with that one. Okay, so back to articles. Very quick. Click on the blog post. And after pulling that up, it's taking a minute to load that. Fortunately, I can edit this. Okay, click on blog posts, advanced. Yeah, I didn't take out the class. All right, CSS class. Update. Now let's see. All right, I've fixed the 4 different blog layouts in Divi Library. I'm going to jump back over to my page where I put the anything slider in. I set it to tabs. I'm going to refresh. And so we've got case study. White papers is coming in full width. Very cool. Articles is coming in no results because there's no articles yet. Industry research is coming in with its own set. Woo! We got it. Boom. Very nice. Now I've done a few little tricks to the blog post here to add some read more buttons that I will need to adjust. But it's plenty good to show the client now. My tabs are now working. And that is your anything slider in the tab set. So I hope that helped you out today. That's the exact kind of scenario that I deal with almost on a daily basis. Sometimes it's a little bit bigger, sometimes it's smaller. Sometimes the issues take all day to figure out. You have to be prepared for that. Sometimes the issues take just a few minutes like it did today. And literally had my phone call with the client. They're extremely happy with how that turned out. Now I told them I'm going to go back in and style it. I'm going to add their featured section that we had to omit from the tabs that you saw. And I'm putting that above the tabs. And we both reasoned with that. And it makes more sense to put featured articles just at the top. You don't need to repeat the featured articles on each tab anyway. So they were very happy with that solution. The only thing they wanted to add that I didn't cover in the tutorial was adding a search. And so I'm going to put that in right now and then add that to the end of this video so you can see the finished page. And that is post conversation with the client. So they were extremely happy with the tabs. We wanted to add that extra little part and done. Yeah, I just wanted to share this one element to how I'm recording these videos. And I also use these for my clients. And so to record the video of the tutorial, getting my screen videos, I don't do that from my desk. Well, I do that on my desktop, but I don't video it from my desktop. I video it from Loom, which is a browser based. They do have an app for your desktop, but I've only used the browser based. But I use Loom. I'm going to click back over here to the main Loom. I guess that is the main Loom homepage for me. But Loom allows you to just click a little tiny button that's right up in your browser bar, and it gives you these options to use audio, to use a screen. You can use the full desktop, or you can use just the screen window, which I'm using here. And it's quick and easy. As soon as you click the finish, it processes the video and it's ready to watch. So I'll make these quick video snippets for my clients. And you can see I've got over 120 videos right now, like all Divi tutorials just for my clients. These aren't tutorials I share with the public because they're specific to my clients' websites. I make these Divi sites specific, well, not specific, but I make these sites for my client that I don't want the public necessarily to see. The clients don't want the public to see the back end of their site. So I make these dedicated to them so they can train on these videos and be able to update the sites themselves. And they love it. I have a great relationship with every client. They all appreciate this addition. And man, when it comes to adding this to your proposal, that you're going to make them training videos, it sounds like a huge, huge deal. And it is a huge deal to them. For you, it's easy, quick and easy to make. You can practically make it as you build it and then just save them out. You can send them the link, or you can download the actual video and create a page that's got their own little training videos on them already. Oftentimes an email is plenty fine, and the video links you can plug right into that email so they have the full list right in their email archives. And clients love it. And I think I pay a monthly fee, $10 a month to cover the costs and open the window of high res videos up to 720p for training videos. That's awesome. And that's what I record my training videos on. Maybe they don't look the greatest on 1080, but you can go straight to the browser, open it up in a browser window, and it'll go full screen really nice. So I will leave a link to go to Loom to get more information as well at the end of this video. All right. Thank you for joining me today. Please remember to subscribe and hit that bell button so that you can get tips and tricks notified right away as soon as I post them. All right. Thank you and peace.